Welcome to the... I don't know what we're calling this.
Who knows? This might get edited together with a bunch of other stuff.
With several other things, and between now and then, I'm sure we can come up with a name befitting this little mini-series on the Japanophile.
On the Japanophile.
The Japanophile.
I'm Morlock, guest service expert.
I'm Jerry. I'm subbing in for Kortov, also called Aaron, this week. Not him, though.
Not him. I hope you don't mind on the last video. I gave out your Twitter handle in case anybody wanted to, fucking chat you up about Kamen Rider.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
I figured that was a good enough way to identify both of us.
Yeah.
We just watched episode 4. Unless we didn't, I watched episode 4. I know that I did. You might have just been watching a completely different episode and had it not sync up.
I mean, I'm gonna say I watched episode 4. I believe it would have been a bizarre series of misunderstandings if we were talking about the same general things during the episode, but just happened to be watching different things.
You never know, really. I just want to play it on the safe side.
No, episode 4, featuring all our favorite players, Jimmy Neutron.
You got any more in there?
The skeleton from the end of Inferno by Dario Argento.
Wow, that's a unique pull. But before we go and talk about episode 4, let's go through 2 and 3.
Yes.
We
watched these over the course of a couple of weeks. I don't know to what degree the audience is going to understand the format, but may as well throw it in here.
Yeah, this will probably come out a month from now when everybody's forgotten completely about these episodes, and we'll just do it in a batch.
Yeah.
But specifically Zero-One episodes 2 and 3, I wanted to go over because they introduce our secondary riders.
Yes.
And the dynamic that they set up between two riders that they drop in this episode. So let's talk about episode 2. Aaron, who was the villain of episode 2?
The villain of episode 2 was a sushi chef?
No, that was episode 3.
That was episode 3. So the villain of episode 2, episode 1 was the comedian, the buff comedian. Episode 2 was Lepidopterist.
I have no idea.
I can't remember what random robot went wrong in episode 2, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is a mystery. So episode 2, though, what we do remember is the introduction of our first secondary rider. And that's all that really matters. You know, the robot plot. They introduce the shark form in that episode, or is that 3?
Yes, I believe it's the shark form.
We'll go into the forms after.
3 is the cheetah.
Oh, okay. Secondary rider, whose name is...
don't know yet.
This is great.
Kamen Rider Zero-One secondary rider. This is not super. The main character is Aruto, right? Got that. That's good. We're fine. Secondary rider's name is Isamu Fua. Also known as Kamen Rider Vulcan.
I honestly didn't have. He has not been called Vulcan.
No, he hasn't. The thing is that they've both transformed into these random forms, which don't have their starting gimmick really. Vulcan has a gun, but so does Valkyrie, which is the name of the other one. So yeah, I don't know. They need to get their branding people on that, because I would be more likely probably to call them Kamen Rider Fang and Cheetah.
Yeah, now is Vulcan just supposed to be? Like, all I can think of in relation are the Vulcans on Gundams.
Yeah, it's a gun thing, I think.
Okay.
And Valkyrie because she's a girl.
Well, that's sexist.
Yeah.
She won't be around long anyways. She wasn't even transformed in this episode, except for when she was.
Yeah.
We're the most capable of doing Kamen Rider retrospective as it's going on.
That's right.
So Kamen Rider Vulcan is introduced. Design-wise, and for Kamen Rider Cheetah, Valkyrie, as well. I like both of their designs. They're good. I think I mentioned in when Valkyrie gets introduced that I kind of wish that hers were swapped so that they could have like the
a
inverse
mirror thing.
Yeah, the mirror of each other.
Gotcha. They look good. Their main thing is they both look like they're made to have interchangeable parts. They both look like they have pieces that are going to come on that are based on whatever the thing they're putting in. Whereas Zero-One looks like Form 1, which will then have things added on when it gets bigger forms.
You say they look like that, but when Vulcan used the arms, the punching arms the mode,
yeah,
that didn't really do that aesthetically.
It was kind of dark, but you might be right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong too. Yeah, blue and white. Yeah, it's fine.
It's good. No, it's fine. I like blue and white better than the yellow and white. Honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As far as characters go, though, I think Isamu is definitely the most interesting out of all the secondary cast that we have right now. That's not.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like fucking, he's like a loose cannon cop. He doesn't play by the rules. He gets results, though. Damn it.
Yeah, no, entirely. That's and I think the hating. Robots hating human gears is adds to it too, because it just contrasts with Zero-One's like love of robots, and having them be on opposite sides of this really helps the initial dynamic. Which is, as they introduce in episode 2, going to be a sort of rivalry, secret identity element, but we'll get more into that later. Let's talk about Kamen Rider Valkyrie. She's a hard ass boss lady, except for when she isn't.
She's right. She has the book, so he doesn't go by the book. Does his own thing because he's just he's a man out on a mission to see the robots put in their place. Whereas she is going by the rules. She believes in protocols and regulations, all that. But then eventually, they're in a situation where she's gotta do the transformation thing. I don't remember exactly. Like, she has like a scene where she's like, "There's more guns than that."
Yes.
And, that's
yeah. That was the other thing too in episode 3, where like. We were like, oh, they have to share like the gun between them. Only one of them can be transformed at a time, and then it just turned out that they had two of the same transformation device.
Yeah, no, like that's a cool idea. I like, for some reason, in a lot of Kamen Rider series, I like when the main characters have these like limits put on them.
Yeah,
and they have to work around them. Like there was a thing in Build where I was excited for this. It didn't end up panning out, but. Build couldn't be Build anymore. I don't remember why. But Bando had his transformation, and so he was taking over. So I thought the idea that the main character would take a break for a couple episodes to kind of mirror when the original Kamen Rider had to stop because like his actor broke his hip or something. And he just had somebody else as Kamen Rider for a while. I thought they were going to do that again, and in this case, you have this where like they're sharing the single one, and it's this interesting limit imposed on them, but not really. They're just both, because like I mean, Got to sell the toy. Got to have these guys out and about.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're getting all their pieces on the board early. Usually, that means they're doing so that they can like get the plot going.
That's true. That's very true with Kamen Rider series. A lot of these things that we've been mentioning follow this unfortunate pattern of, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they did this, and then they immediately have a reason not to, and let's not dance around it anymore. So this episode 4 involves Kamen Rider Vulcan finding out Kamen Rider Zero-One's true identity, just very casually, very haphazardly.
Yeah, like it's not even a big deal.
Yeah,
but to be honest, there was never a scene in any episode where somebody's like watching the news or something. They're like, a bizarre green man has been killing robots.
No, but
like they never really built it up as a identity to be revealed.
Okay, the way that I took it was you have you have Ames, right? The way that I thought it was going to go would be if Zero-One's secret identity is revealed, then Arto would be just arrested, like on the spot, and then like whisked away, and like, oh, we gotta take him out, and then company would go under, and that's where the tension would come in. But clearly after this episode, that's not what they're doing.
No.
And I can't really criticize a show for not doing specifically what I wanted it to do. But I do feel like there are these opportunities that they've been having that they've been just sidestepping a little bit.
Well, I think what it is we've both seen so much Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
We've seen so many bugmen killing monsters that we see a flag and we immediately think, oh, it's this. Mm-hmm. It's this thing that we know. They're going to do this in this way. That's interesting. And then they don't do it, which means, oh, okay, it was a different flag. That's like, we're just seeing the different like ways that these shows usually go, or the different ways that these shows can go. So we haven't figured out yet, basically, with Zero-One, what kind of show it is.
That's true. I do think that you're right when you say like, oh yeah, we're getting all of this kind of out of the way now, and then after we're like, there's going to be a certain point when we're going to go head first into whatever the main conflict ends up being, because we're clearly still in the early like, get all the toys out, we need to have all the toys, and every Kamen Rider series has this, where it's just an early period of getting to know the characters and pushing that merchandise.
Yes, yeah.
You want to talk about the forms that Zero-One has so far?
Zero-One, we have Grasshopper,
which is our best.
Main form.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's definitely it's designed very well. And then we have what was it actually called? I mean, it's the flying form, basically.
Flying Falcon.
Oh, and the biting shark.
Yeah, no. So of these two, I'm flipping back and forth. I don't know which I like better. I like Rising Hopper better because it looks good. It's sleek. It's great. I'm honestly not a huge fan. I'm not completely like these aren't bad forms, and there's definitely worse rider forms that we've had. I do feel like just having the neon green, even though it does tie it back to the base Rising Hopper, distracts from the colors on like the Shark and Falcon one.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're going to have the belt with neon green,
they're all going to be in these first 10 episodes. Then he's going to get his first tier 2 upgrade, and then we're probably going to see these like never again. Between Biting Shark and Flying Falcon, I'd say Biting Shark. even though it's got kind of like unnecessary frills on the side that I'm not crazy about. I don't like the specific color of Flying Falcon. It's like weird magenta, which is a color that doesn't exist.
I like the shark too, just because it's not a motif that we usually see in a Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Cause...
Also, we will never. We'll see Flying Falcon, but it'll be seen probably the least of these because it's the heaviest use of CGI necessary.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you sure, but then you're right. Like that's true.
Yeah.
Flying Falcon is going to be essentially like those Pokemon that you give fly or swim to, and then you never use for anything else because there's no point.
What I'm really interested here is the villains.
Yeah, so we got our first glimpse at our first villain in Kamen Rider form. He was not named in the actual episode, but
no,
I have it on good authority that his name is Kamen Rider Horrible. Kamen Rider
Kamen Rider no good. Kamen Rider very
Horobi.
Bad. Yeah, Horobi.
That might be. I don't know if that's from the actual magazines or if this is just them assuming that it's their names.
I think so. Their names are Horobi and Jin.
Yeah.
So this might just be what they're being called right now until we know.
And then Kamen Rider Trouser, who's TBA right now.
We'll see about that. Yeah.
So we got to meet the purple one, right now.
That's right. Senor Hood. I think. Actually, that might be the other one. No, Horobi is Blindfold Man.
Yeah. And didn't really do much this episode, so there's not a whole lot to talk about.
He's just shows up, executes robots, so they can't like ask him about anything. And that's it.
I feel like we are definitely going to get more of Horobi specifically next episode. Of course, I could be wrong. Who knows? They introduced him, so...
Yeah, they're just getting him out of the way.
Yeah. How long do you give it till he actually, physically fights with the Kamen Riders? Because I say,
usually it's, first encounter around episode 10 or 11.
Yeah,
and it's, they lose.
Usually it's not long after the first, Stock shows up and does something and build, and then the next episode they're fighting or whatever.
Similar kind of thing too. Stock, where he shoots out his tentacle and because the other one was Night
Rogue.
Night Rogue. He shoots out his tentacle and kills people before they can fess up about what he's doing.
Now I'm looking at this right now, and apparently his form is based off of a scorpion.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I mean he's got the weird goth finger blade thing.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him when he actually does shit. So
right, yeah, we just got a tease basically. Yeah. The other one is looking like fucking X-8.
Yeah, he I was just looking at his picture. Yeah, there's something going on there, and I don't know what. I'm not sure I actually like that a whole lot, especially the mask design.
It's got the weird phoenix thing. Is it a phoenix? Is it a...
Oh, it has to be some sort of bird. If it's not, I don't know what they're doing.
That is bizarre.
Flying Falcon.
Yeah. You know what? I think the most interesting thing about these guys, though, is the website they run.
Yes.
Yeah. So, metsubojinrai.net. I don't recall what it was translated as.
Something like Absolute Destiny Apocalypse.
It was like Thunder something in the first of it. We're watching the overtime subs, if you guys could tell.
Because they're better.
Yeah, they are. But so Metsubojinrai.net. If you type that into your computer, you will get a real website, which is still the same, hasn't changed. Really interesting. It's got the image that they use for it, and it has a contact us form. You put in your name and your email and a subject and whatever. And after last episode, I actually used this website and sent a message and got a reply.
And what did they say?
So I asked if I could join metsubojinrai.net as a disgruntled Amazon worker. But they said, sorry, we don't trust outsiders. So I guess I don't have a future as a Kamen Rider lackey.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Maybe I'll try again.
All right.
I can get them my resume.
Oh, yeah. Your cover letter, actually.
Yeah.
We got anything else? I think maybe we can wrap it up.
No, I'm pretty sure that's it for the, I guess we could call this the Secondary Rider Introduction Trilogy.
We'll be talking over the next few weeks. You'll see us in the next one. But for you guys, it'll probably just be right after this sentence. No, Keita Amamiya wasn't involved with either Meatball Machine.
Damn.
You're probably thinking of Nishimura.
Well, I just remembered the armor that the guy has in Meatball Machine too. It kind of looked like Amamiya style.
Oh yeah, I got you. You ready to discuss some 0101?
I am absolutely.
Episode 5. We haven't talked about that. Episode 5 was the manga episode.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. It was a pretty neat one-off episode, mainly built around its premise of having manga cut-ins, and that's
they
about
did
it.
some cool like art stuff with it.
I think we're gonna go rapid fire through a couple of these episodes.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's really not that advanced. I think the biggest thing we got was that Hirobi told Jin that he was his father.
Yes.
And then he becomes obsessed with the idea of fathers and parents. And,
We're gonna get back to Jin. I think Jin is going to be a major focus of this episode. The episode 7 is actually his debut as a Kamen Rider, and then we go on to 8, the teacher one. Introduces Zero-One's freezing bear, which I had mentioned while we were watching it, that it has these transparent parts that I have not really seen on any other Kamen Rider.
No, other than a little bit with, I think Meteor has some kind of transparent plastic bits attached.
Yeah, no, Meteor does have that, but not in the same way.
No, here it's completely transparent. So it's an interesting look. I like it, but I do agree, generally speaking, that the neon green does not mix with many other colors.
The neon green hasn't mixed with a lot.
No, it's great by itself or with black, but other than that.
All right, so we have this image, and yeah, the combination of neon and light blue doesn't really work for me.
No, well, all of the other colors are kind of like pastels.
Yeah.
So they distinctly don't really work with the neon.
If it was just that and black, the thing is that it keeps the base color. However, I'm bringing up this image because then we have Kamen Rider Valkyrie in her Hornet outfit.
Yeah.
And that completely ignores and loses the base color. And I think it looks much better for it. Like, it looks like this could be a base form because it just doesn't have that hint of...
If she just had like if she was a Hornet-themed Kamen Rider.
Yeah, if she was a Wasp.
Got shades of Zabi. Yeah. No, I like of her forms. That one's my favorite, I think. She's got 3. I think. Cheetah and this and like another. Pretty sure.
We're gonna prove you wrong
Oh,
right now.
jeez. Oh.
She has lightning hornet and rushing
Uh-huh.
cheetah.
Damn. Well, you got me.
Yep, exposed.
Fake fan. Fake fan.
Let's so now we're past these small one-off episodes mainly. I think it's about time that we get into the big 2 episodes that we had.
Yeah, 9 and 10. It was a good, very, very solid ending to this batch of episodes. 8, I think, was probably the start, which is effective. Like makes sense because it's called The Destruction Begins Now.
We got giant robots destroying buildings. Now, I have to ask you, for what purpose did they build a counter giant robot for Zero-One to pilot?
I think that they just coincidentally had a giant robot for another purpose.
They did say it was for like emergency rescue. That doesn't explain why it has goddamn weapons and shit.
Well, maybe the process of Zero being implanted inside of this robot causes the robot to become offensive. Like it develops offensive weaponry.
I don't buy this. I don't.
No? Okay. Well, I got nothing then. Gonna have to figure it out for yourself. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not gonna complain about the robots because I'm a big fan. Liking the robots, like the robot with all the death tentacles.
Yeah, while we were watching, we also commented on how the CGI was not that bad. We've had much worse. We've had much worse CG and much worse just robot designs too. The Zero-One robots weren't that good.
No. I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of times when they bring a giant robot into Kamen Rider specifically, they're designed to be a toy first. So, and by that, like, it's specifically, this is a robot that transforms from some average everyday object. So it's kind of a lame robot. It's like a robot toaster or a robot, like, dentist.
Robot dentist.
Yeah, whatever. These are robots, they're like clearly giant robots meant to destroy humanity or whatever, whatever it is they were made to do.
Yeah.
Which, like, we still don't know about the original Hiden. Maybe he's behind it all. I'm pretty sure he's behind it all.
Who's to say?
Right. Yeah, no, I like the giant robots. I like the whole... Once Hirobi starts, like, showing up on the scene and transforming, and that's, spoilers.
We are talking about the show.
Yeah.
You don't need to say spoilers.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. This is full of spoilers, right? Hirobi transforms into Kamen Rider Sting.
Kamen Rider Horobi.
He's just listed as Kamen Rider Horobi, but it's it's a scorpion, and it, like, when it transforms, it stings him in the chest, and then it, like, attaches. Which, like, both of the villain transformations look really painful.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
I like it.
He's got this cool ass sword, and when you see him in full daylight, his costume is really cool.
Yeah, he also has the bow.
Yeah, that's right, death bow.
The death bow, which, as we've seen in many other Kamen Rider shows, well, Gaim specifically, the bow is a weapon to be reckoned with.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I was just thinking about this a second ago. I think the idea is you pull a bow back, right, and then you fire it, but you, like, aim it while it's pulled back. But that is so much like charging. Like, if you were to do that, you're gonna have to charge it. That's just what makes sense from the perspective of a fantastical weapon. So it's like it's always going to be an incredibly effective, like, weapon.
I mean, you hope. Like,
yeah.
I think also with Kamen Riders being generally melee weapon based, it's kind of like, oh, this guy has some sort of ranged weapon that can just kick the ass of whoever they're fighting.
You do get also a kind of a high degree of ranged characters being kind of scumbags. Not always villains, but like kind of bad guys. Like, what's his name from Ryuki? He's not like a villain, but he's an asshole.
Green guy?
Yeah.
Gringo.
Shoot.
Fake fan.
You don't know it either.
Both of these villains in these past few episodes have proven themselves to be probably the highlight of the show for me. And I think I'm going to use this point to jump on to talking about characters, because I want to talk about Jin. I want to talk about how Jin is my favorite character in this show so far. Maybe rivaled only by one character who is essentially an accessory to Jin.
Yes.
Because right now he is the most interesting, has the most going on in terms of character development and potential for character development too. In these past few episodes, we've kind of seen his more childlike and naive side, and they've played that up a lot, especially after he learns like what family and all of that stuff. They have that whole episode on it. And I think that's the perfect way to go with him. I think having this major threat also be this kind of naive, childlike villain is refreshing.
Well, the way they started with it, like at the very beginning, I couldn't actively identify that that's what they were doing, because there's a lot of like villains in Japanese media where their whole thing is they act kind of childishly, and that's like that's a foil to how diabolical they are, right?
I think I mentioned Parad from X-Aid.
Yeah. In this instance, he is literally just a child.
Oh yeah.
So it's not even like it's supposed to stand at contrast to what he's actually like. He's just like a kid playing with toys.
He doesn't
may
realize
actually be like 10 years old or whatever. He's like very young.
He doesn't realize the full impact or weight of what he's doing, and in a lot of ways, he's either just doing or mimicking what Horubi is doing. And this also includes the introduction of the robot that Jin takes under his wing, and that is my next favorite character, Little Assassin.
That's right, Little Assassin, also known as Ansatsu-chan. He's fantastic. It's like he shows up and he's just in the background in the first couple episodes that he's in, and it's like, oh, this guy is still around. This guy looks kind of remarkably like Kyle MacLachlan.
That's not...
No, he does.
He's not Asian.
No, but I mean, he's got the Kyle MacLachlan chin.
Little Assassin is possibly my favorite. He's not a Kamen Rider. He is.
No, he's like a dodo bird. That's his.
Yeah.
That's his animal. No, he's just like some robot they picked up that they've been messing around with. At some point, the other villains, the shadowy police villains, get him, and they may have done something to him to
make
change
his eyes blue when he changes.
Yeah. They're clearly running some other kind of game, which, I'm sure deepen as the episodes go on, and they shift villains, which is definitely going to happen.
We'll talk about that. I mean, we can move to talk about that now if you want, because that is about Kamen Rider Valkyrie and her whole plot. Unless there's anything else you want to say about Little Assassin. I do want to say that the last episode that we watched, episode 10, is a Little Assassin-focused episode that ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm so happy that he's getting development. I don't want to see him die just yet. What I would want and what would make sense for this character dying or being destroyed would be to have that be the turning point for Jin going over to the good guys. A bigger bad guy comes in and he wrecks the little puppy dog of a character that everyone likes, and then the bad guys have to team up with the good guys. That's where I see this going as a avid Kamen Rider fan.
No, that seems likely. I think that's how it's gonna go.
Or they could not do that. I could also see this character living on until the end to spite both of us.
Yeah, no, we have consistently, as this show's gone on, come up with schemes of like, oh, they're doing this Sentai,
and then they
Kamen
don't do
Rider,
that.
Toku thing that we recognize, and then we're like, oh, no, never mind.
Now, so far, for me at least, it hasn't really been in a satisfying way. It's been like, oh, I thought they were doing this, and then they turned out to do something a little bit less interesting. What we're hoping is that will then develop into something interesting later on. But for me, there has to be a pull sooner rather than later. And the last two, the episode 8 and 9, really ramped things up, and I like where it's going. Let's talk about Kamen Rider Valkyrie, because she's had some weird ass development in these last few episodes that I don't know if I like.
Well, she is clearly kind of like the Lancer here. She's the heavy, serving the shadowy villains in the background.
The chess playing guy that we don't know a whole lot about.
Right. Policeman. Yeah.
We get the scene of Valkyrie and Izu, or Izu confronting Valkyrie with this information towards the end of episode 9, leaving us off with another situation of different characters having different access to information. And I think this is getting back to what I liked about the initial setup of Zero-One's identity secret. Now, while that is not a thing anymore, I think I like having this kind of conspiracy surrounding Valkyrie. I am also terribly afraid of where it's going to go and how it's going to end, because it could easily just end with... I mean, it is going to end with her turning on whatever her evil boss is and being a good guy. We discussed Hero's heel turn in X-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want another situation where it is a character that's being blackmailed or some dumb excuse for them to do this. That's just not fun.
It seems clear that her whole shtick is going to be like keeping by the rules, playing things by the book. She's the I got them mixed up. The Murtaugh to her partner's Riggs. Riggs is Mel Gibson, right?
What movie are you referencing?
Lethal Weapon. I've not actually seen a Lethal Weapon film.
Neither have I.
Okay, well, there we are. I'm pretty sure
we're Weebs.
We're Weebs.
No one listening to this has seen Lethal Weapon. They're watching Kamen Rider.
Listen, if you're watching this and you've seen Lethal Weapon, correct me in the comments, or don't if I'm right, and prove me doubly right, because some people have seen Lethal Weapon.
Oh no. All right. So we've voiced our concerns over where Valkyrie
storyline
is going. Well, for me at least, it's an interesting start that I am kind of worried about where it's going afterwards. You want to talk about Kamen Rider Vulcan?
Vulcan.
He's made some He's made the starts of development.
Oh man, yeah. No, I was very excited, just absolutely ecstatic, because there was a scene where Sting hits Vulcan with the super death bow
with his stinger,
and he explodes. And I'm like, oh fuck, is he dead? Oh no, he's not dead.
we were
But I
both
bet.
very excited to
Oh
see
my
if he had
god.
died.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says, but
I don't know.
because we both also like this character.
Yes, I think it's just that the prospect of them killing off a character in a Kamen Rider is more novel than the character so far.
Okay,
Not
but
that he's
look at
not
how early we
unnovel.
are into this.
Right.
The death that happened in Xaid around this time uh, did not stay a character that was dead for much long.
No,
I
it was
guess,
a while though. It was like 20 episodes or so before he came back.
yeah, for him. But then he was back as an AI and still fun.
Yep.
Good character.
Yeah. We were both, but then like, okay, so he's alive. And then we were both going, oh, it's fucking Will Smith.
They're gonna replace him with robot parts. Our
Yeah,
initial thought was like, oh, he's gonna be like a cyborg and he's gonna hate himself. And
yeah,
then we realized that it was just going to be, oh, the robot saves his life and now he has conflicting feelings about robots.
right,
Which is
right.
not the wrong
It's
way to do
fine.
it. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not what I wanted,
It's
but
not what
it's
any of us
not
wanted.
terrible. Listen, I wanted to have the scene where he like lifts his arm up and it's a robot arm and he screams. And it didn't happen.
It's fine. It's a positive development in his character, and at least
No,
it's adding something new. Don't got much else to say
no,
because he's kind of
pretty
in the
much
middle of his transformation now. The
yeah,
last
yeah.
we've heard about him was him specifically saying like, "Oh, well now I have two conflicting memories of something horrible happening with robots and something good happening with robots."
Yeah.
And
I would say, generally speaking, to summarize, that so far our issue with the show, which it hasn't been an issue really, is that it hasn't taken off yet. But now we're getting to the start of the takeoff sequence.
hopefully,
That
I
seems
feel like
to
we were
be
saying this when we did our first, or probably the episodes that we recorded earlier that we
yeah.
haven't posted yet. We've definitely said this before. It feels like it is ramping up to its takeoff, but it is not quite there yet.
No, the nose is about to tip up, and we're gonna start flying. It really seems like that's what's happening.
Any day now.
I'm sure that this device made for flying will go into the air.
We didn't even talk about Arto or anything with him.
Um,
I'm gonna spoil it. Not much really happened with him character-wise.
no, not yet. I mean, like, he's the main character, so like they're taking it slow with him. He's kind of a standard personality for a main character.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
happy-go-lucky.
once they reveal that he's a human gear, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
We'll check back in probably after another batch of episodes. I think
Yeah.
definitely after we'll try to keep these in batches.
Probably like maybe 5 episodes. That seems like a good mini arc.
Yeah. Or whenever we feel like we're at end of an arc or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. All right.
Yep.
I'm going to stop recording, say bye.
Bye!
Oh, wait, and plug your Twitter.
Plug my Twitter. Hi, I don't have I sort of have a Twitter, but it's not anything.
Okay,
really.
don't follow him on Twitter. I'm going to put
Yeah,
his Twitter up anyways.
Yeah, it's on the
Korthoff
screen
on
or
Twitter.
it's in the description or whatever. But like, I mostly just like post pictures of my cat. I'll continue posting pictures of my cat. If you want to see my cat, I can do that. It's fine.
Follow the Morlock on Twitter if you want to see me talk about the Ju-On remake and how it's going to be horrible. The American Ju-On remake and how it's going to be horrible.
Also, he'll post pictures of my cat.
Also, I'll post pictures of Broly the cat.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you guys in the next episode or next video, whatever comes next. Okay, bye.